Good morning, everybody. Everybody here feeling good, in good Christmas spirits? Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, la 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 la. Okay, that's enough. I know you'd want to go on, but you do make a good choir. And while you were singing that, Anna was listening, trying to see who else she's going to recruit for the choir. So she'll pick up something. Anyhow, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia. My name is Richard McLeod, and I am your service leader of the day. Now, our minister, our regular minister, is Stephen Robinson, Reverend Robinson. And on those times when he's not in the pulpit, such as today, we present a variety of interesting speakers, a lot of times from this congregation or sometimes from the community or from across the country, for that matter. For those of you who are here in person, let me remind you that this service is being streamed on YouTube and Zoom. That's what David's doing up there. So watch your language, because there's lots of people listening. Now, also welcome those of you who are watching this streaming. And even though we'd rather you be here with us in person, we're glad you can join us, even through a technological connection. Please make sure that you read your announcements in the printed order of service, which everybody should have one. You're not hearing me, Jim? Is it your problem or is it everybody's problem? Everybody hear me okay? Yes. Okay. All right. Well, I'll be more careful about that anyhow. Yeah, read the announcements in your printed order of service, and we try to email everybody an events thing that we sent out on Thursday, so that will let you know what's going on, as well as the website. You know, we have a website that's very comprehensive. It's kept up to date, so I would suggest that you keep a tab open on your browser for our website so you'll know what's going on, because you don't want to miss all this exciting stuff. Please practice the health restrictions that are approved by our Board of Trustees. That we're still in that time where we have to be careful. Current guidelines are that wearing a mask is optional. Now, this depends on your own physical condition, your own vaccination and booster issues. But because there has been a recent uptick in cases, we urge you to be extra cautious and be appropriate with what you wear and the social distances that you practice. Now, I'm trying to catch some CYRE people. I don't know what's going on with the CYRE today. Am I to say that the children have stuff? Children are to be in service, so there's no, okay, all right. So that's good. Today's flowers are the poinsettias that we use to decorate, and I just want to say a shout out to, thank you very much to Liz and Phil Turner and their helpers for their help in not only providing these poinsettias, but for all the other neat stuff, including this tree that Phil made, that are here. So Phil and Liz, who are not here to take a bow, anyhow, we'll get them on. Yeah, we'll do. But anyhow, we really do appreciate that. And now, please make sure that all your electronic devices are silenced as we listen to the prelude.
This morning, Karen Peters and I will play the Virgin Slumber Song, Maria Wiegenlied by Max Reger.
Well, that was absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Anna and Karen. Appreciate that. All right, now please stand and join me for our congregational affirmation as is found in your order of service. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To serve unity. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. Unitarian Universalism is a diverse and non-creedal religion. We are a covenantal religion, which means that we don't have to believe the same in order to treat each other the same, with respect, equity, compassion, and dignity. Our community is based on deeds, not creeds. As Unitarian Universalists, we side with love, embracing all people regardless of age, color, race, socioeconomic status, physical ability, or religious background. We have been officially designated by the Unitarian Universalist Association as a welcoming congregation, which means that we welcome LGBTQ plus individuals. And we especially invite families and young children, and if you need a nursery, we even have that available to you. We encourage everyone to wear name tags so some of us can remember who we are. My name, and so that we may know each other better. So please do that. Board members wear green name tags, and they usually welcome your comments, questions, or suggestions. So would members of the board please stand so we can recognize you? Thank you. Okay, at this time, we'd like to recognize any guests or visitors, any visitors that are with us today. So, visitors, if you are willing and able, please rise and share with us your name and where you're from, and if you have guests with you, recognize them too. Now, Dr. Emilio Perez Jorge will be bringing around the microphone, so wait till it gets to you and then speak into it. Visitors.
I did not know that I was going to be like, hey, everybody. But I'm Ashby Howard. I'm from Columbia. I'm just visiting today. I've been wanting to visit for a couple of years. 20 years ago, I used to come here and see concerts. So anyway, I've been away from church for a few years now, missing community, but not in with the dogma. So I'm happy to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. Now, I got to tell you, please don't rush out the door after you leave, because from what you've said, there will be several people who will be upon you there. Yes. All right.
Hi, my name is Ivy Kaiser, and we're visiting from Austin, Texas, and I actually grew up in this church, and hi, Regina. I have not been here in probably 12 years, and this is my daughter, Isla, who is visiting my hometown for the first time.
I know I think Isla wanted the microphone, too. Okay, thank you. Now, visitors, if you will, please fill out a visitor card and put it in the collection plate. There should be one on the chair back in front of you. We'd like to know who you are so we can come pounding on your door and harass. No, wait, that's not right. No, we really don't do that. We don't come pounding on your door. We just want to send you out literature and just to meet you and tell you welcome. So, remembering our masking and social distancing preferences, let's take a moment to greet each other. So, turn around to those who are near you and offer a pleasant greeting, handshake, fist bump, and a big smile, please. Can we take our seats, please? You know, I always wondered how long it would take you to settle down if I didn't call you back to order here. How long you would take a while anyhow. Today's chalice lighter is Tom Clements, who I would like to recognize as being our faithful bell ringer before the service. When you heard the big bell in back that called us to come in here and settle down, he's the one who does it.
I'm somewhat of a musician, you might say. Anyway, sad. My name is Tom Clements, and thank you, Richard. I've been coming here since 2010, and I want to preface what I'm saying that I was raised in Georgia by good Methodists, and my parents tried to instill that in me. Unfortunately, their mission did not succeed, but they did instill in me a sense of social justice. I look back, and they basically turned me into an environmental activist, and I went to grad school at the University of Georgia in environmental sciences, and I'm very appreciative of the influence of my parents on my life. They grew up in the rural South. They well knew and observed firsthand discrimination, racism, and oppression, and they tried to dedicate their lives as educators to try to change that. That had a great influence on me. But I wanted to mention, as you've probably realized, it didn't quite dawn on me, this week is a real interesting week from a cultural perspective and from a scientific perspective. I think Hanukkah starts today. Christmas is a week from today. And the day that I'm really most concerned in is the middle of the week of this sandwich, is December 22nd, which some of you will recognize. That's the winter solstice. Of course, the shortest amount of daylight. And as we can feel and know, the solstice is a time for renewal for all of us in many ways as we kind of retreat a bit. I was at the Congaree Park. I was telling John yesterday, wow, the birds are out there doing their thing. They're not sleeping. They're busy peeling off little insects off the trees. The woodpeckers are quite active. But this also means it's going to be really cold. You may have seen that I just checked again. The forecast was 17 degrees on Saturday morning. And that means that the homeless are going to be under great pressure. This is the lead-in. And luckily, there are places for them to go, but it breaks my heart to see people coming into the winter shelter, such as the guy in a wheelchair without legs the other night, no possessions and no money. But at least there's somewhere for people who don't have a place to go. They can go, have a bed, get warm, and hopefully make it through the winter and have a better 2023 as we look forward. So I'm going to light the chalice in the honor of all those people who are out there struggling, that are homeless, that you folks have helped, and that's appreciated very much. So thank you.
Spirit of light and life, come unto us. Thank you, Tom.
This morning's musical meditation is composed by Sharon Matchett, and it's a setting of the text for the loving kindness meditation.
I think I need to note that when I wrote this, it was right after my daughter had been diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's doing well now, but that was about 3 years ago. And when I would do the loving kindness meditation in yoga class, I could not start with that, may I be well, because I just didn't feel it. I could do fine with my best friend, you, and the whole world. I could love them and everything, but I couldn't do the I. So I wrote this, may I be well, as being the very last verse of it. And I talked to Jessica this morning, and she goes, no. The most important thing is to feel that way towards yourself first, because that's the way you can truly feel towards everybody else. And I said, well, I knew it, but I couldn't get there. And I said, should I change the words? And she says, it's up to you, of course, you know. So I thought, well, okay, I'll practice it and see how well I do. Well, you know what? I'd done it so much in my head for the last 3 years that I knew how it felt to put myself first, even though I'd been singing it last. So I got there. And may we all get there. Okay. May I be well, may I be safe, may I feel joy and be at peace, be at peace. May you be well, may you feel joy, may you be safe and be at peace, be at peace. May all be well, may all be safe, may all feel joy and be at peace, be at peace, at peace.
Wow, that was beautiful. Thank you, Sharon, Anna, Karen. Yeah, beautiful. I'm very honored today to introduce our guest speaker. She's been with this congregation for a while, and I consider her a personal friend. Dr. Jessica Kross is a retired professor of history from USC and has been a member of this congregation for the past 43 years. She started to explore Buddhism and began a meditation practice in 1984. She did her first Buddhist 10-day silent retreat in 1985 and has attended some 50-plus retreats of varying lengths since then. She is one of the lay teachers in the Insight Meditation community of Columbia, which meets in the library on Monday evenings and which welcomes any of you to attend. At the moment, they are doing Zoom sessions, so anybody who, we're always doing Zoom sessions. Anybody who is interested in joining that Zoom session, Zoom, I didn't mean to say doom, I'm sorry. Yes. Anyhow, they can contact her at jcross943@gmail.com. Your opening words, Jessica.
Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Sharon, Karen, Anna. Beautiful. So we don't meet in the library anymore. We just do Zoom. Anyone who's interested can contact me. Our opening words this morning are from the larger poem, The Garden of Proserpina by Algernon Charles Swinburne. I don't know when I decided that I really liked late Victorian poetry, because I consider the Victorians creepy. And I used to tell my colleagues in the history department who taught the Victorian that I considered the Victorians creepy, and they just looked at me. So this is a verse. From too much love of living, from hope and fear set free, we thank with brief thanksgiving, whatever gods may be, that no life lives forever, that dead men rise up never, that even the weariest river winds somewhere safe to sea. Where we are now. I guess we're at the story for all ages. I don't see too many all ages, so I think I'm gonna, there's an all age. Very good. Hi, all age. Oh, we've got more. We've got more all ages. Oh, this is wonderful. Okay. So the poem, which was the opening reading, was called From the Garden of Proserpina, but many of you probably know Proserpina as Persephone. And Proserpina is the Latin, Persephone is the Greek. And this is the story of why we have winter. Because people at one time didn't know how things went round and round, and they didn't have science the way we did. So Persephone was the daughter of Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, and Zeus, the head god. So she is a goddess of sorts. She's a nature goddess. And she resolves to remain chaste, which means that she's not going to have any children. And this is what she wants to do, but some other people have some other ideas. So Hades, who is the god of the underworld, because people felt that there was a place underneath, in the middle of the earth, that was a dark place, and that's where dead people went. He's the god of the dead people. And he's also her uncle. But, these things didn't matter too much. And he comes upon Persephone. When she wanders away from some of her handmaidens, he kidnaps her and takes her down to the underworld. So he grabs this lady and he drags her down to hell. Her mother is just beside herself. She doesn't know what happened. She's going everywhere. And in her sadness, she abandons the world and she abandons the plants, and there can be no harvest. Eventually, Helios, the sun god, tells her what's happened, so now she knows what she can do. At first, the guy who kidnaps her says, oh, no, we're not going anywhere. I want this lady to stay right here. But he realizes that the earth is dying, that he needs to do something, that things aren't going well. He tricks Persephone into eating some pomegranate seeds, the food of the dead. And the final compromise, because it's good to compromise, it's good to say, I get a little bit, and you get a little bit, and they get a little bit, and everybody might not get everything, but everybody gets something, is that Persephone must stay with Hades as many months as the seeds she ate, but was free to return to the earth and her mother the other months. When Persephone returns to her mother, when she climbs out of hell and comes back to the earth, her mother, who is the goddess of agriculture, rejoices, and the earth bears fruit. When Persephone goes back to Hades and the underworld, Demeter mourns, and the plants die. And that is why we have summers and winters, according to Greek mythology. So thank you for listening, everybody, all ages. And you can go back to your seats.
Oh, a great story, Jessica. And I noticed the kids sitting down there were all just paying rapt attention. Maybe. No, I was watching. There were. Anyhow, it's time for our candles of community. If you have a personal joy, sorrow, or just concern that you would like to have shared from this pulpit, then if you will contact our administrator or one of our service leaders by noon on Friday, and we will read it for you during this time. But if you are here in person today and would like to speak for yourself, you must pick up one of the candles that we have as you come in. They're in the basket on the entry table, and come forward when briefly requested, which is now. Okay. So anyone who has a joy or concern that you picked up a candle, please come forward now and share with us. We have one arriving momentarily. Oh.
Hi, I'm JP, and I have a major concern. Just a little backdrop. I started as a park ranger in 1974, working in the backcountry, and over my career, I made contact with about 46,000 people, mostly in wilderness, and there were little to no people of color, I think 8 in 20-some years. And so when I became a professor, I did social science research, and I tried to find out what was preventing people from going into wilderness, and it was racism, or at least the fear of racism, or being treated poorly. Recently, and this is why I'm lighting a candle, is I don't know if you pay attention to the local news, but somebody sprayed on a high school bathroom wall, and this last week, and it was some horrible stuff about blacks and stuff. So what I want for Christmas, and my concern is there's not enough love in the world. And so that's my dream and my wish for Christmas, that we have more love. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm the short one. Hi, I'm Ivy Coleman,
And I'm Robin Shearer.
and I'm lighting a candle today of gratitude. Some weeks back, I came up here and said that I'd had some family drama. My father had been in the hospital a couple of times, and my brother was in and was really, really critically ill. And at one point, they were, saying only about 10% of people survive this level of illness. And he had multi-organ failure, and it was dramatic, and it was scary, and it was life-changing. And now he is, after about 84 days of hospital and rehab, he's back home, and he's not as much of a jerk. So I think it scared the fool out of him. So I think that's been a good thing for our family, a lot of healing, physical and emotional. And my father's up and down, but doing better today. And we have a big piece of news we found out yesterday. Our nephew, who's way too young for this, is getting married. And we're very excited about it. And I say he's young because he's young emotionally, but so is his fiance, so I think they'll do fine. We all bumble through it, right? So I was on Facebook messaging with my cousin, and I said, our nephew got engaged, your little cousin got engaged. She goes, so did your little cousin. So I have 2 in our family who are engaged. So it's a very exciting time, and very grateful. So, thanks.
Ditto, all that.
Sometime when people tell about their joys or concerns, you know that that's only the short end of the story. There's a lot more to it.
Hi, I'm Susan Robinson. Glad to be back. I'm a bicoastal Unitarian. It turns out you can belong to 2 churches I didn't know that because I was brought up like Tom, a Methodist, and you have to tell the church you're leaving, and the apportionments are based on the membership, so I found out that you can belong to both churches. So go to First Unitarian Church in Portland, downtown, and It is a huge church, a wonderful church. I think there are probably about 15 people on the staff. It's a 1,000-member church. So when I come back here, it's such a joy to just fall in and know so many people. Thank you for the welcome last week. Be here a couple of months. I'm wearing my mask because I took someone to the airport who you know, and he's in California now, and he's turned out to have COVID. So I asked Emilio, should I even come? And he said, yeah, just wear your mask, and that'll protect the others. So that's why I'm masked. But the other joy I'd like to share is that the Partner Church Committee has met, and a few of you may not know, but we have behind here is some gifts and some photos of our little Bestercha congregation. But we are going to have another gala evening, and we wanted to tell you the date, so you will not leave town, and you will come. We will have music and refreshments, and it is on Sunday, February 26th in the evening. So quick, put your phones, get everything in the so that you can remember. And we're really excited to be talking about the possibility of a visit from Reverend Jolt. And he's planning to bring a young man with him who is, I don't know quite how old he is, but he's the son of the founder of the little Bestercha congregation, grandson. I think he's 18, 19, 20. So he's very excited at the idea that he might come to America for the first time. So maybe this spring, we don't know. It's still in the works, but we're working on it.
Thank you, Susan. Reverend Jolt will be with us by video on February the 19th.
Hi, I'm Chuck Ashley, and me and Bud have been coming here a couple of years now, and you've heard me mention our son, Jesse, several times, and he's our youngest child, and I just wanted to let you know Jesse has a special anniversary coming up in a few days now. It was the worst day of our lives. It was December 27th, 2 days after Christmas, in the year 2016, that our 24-year-old son fell through a skylight in a 45-foot-high warehouse in Olympia to the concrete floor below, where he received many, many broken bones and terrible injuries, and actually died many, many times during his 87 days in intensive care. And he wasn't expected to live. They told us daily that they didn't expect him to live. Our life was in chaos. I came close to having a nervous breakdown several times. We've been totally responsible for him throughout his ordeal of recovering from this. He is now 30 years old. December 27th will be his 6th birthday, actually, because he's reborn. This child who was once rebellious, hateful, sneaky, always up to something, in trouble with the law. I was in and out of going to court with him constantly. He went to jail. He was disrespectful. He hated me. He hated Bud. Now he has the mind of a child because of the traumatic brain injury that he received when he struck the floor after falling 45 feet. So now I'm mommy again, and he loves me again, and he's sweet-natured again, and he's nice, and he's polite, and he's well-mannered, but he's in a wheelchair, and he has a hemiplegia. One side of his body is paralyzed, and he'll never be the same again. He'll never marry. He'll never have children. He'll never have the full life that we had hoped or wondered if he was going to have one day. But he did, in fact, survive his fall. And I know by the tidbits of information that I've been giving you over the years that you've probably wondered what was going on. And so that was it. And his anniversary is coming up. So the new Jesse is fixing to be 6 years old. And he's reading now, too. He's been reading books. So yay, Jesse.
Hello, my name is Andy Mahler, and started coming this year with my wife Bethany. And this candle is for one of each of our parents, my mother Linda Mahler, and Bethany's stepdad Jim Spitzley, who both this year have been diagnosed with terminal illnesses. And it's been sad to see their decline after each having many years of depression and isolation from their families emotionally, literally, and we just, at this time of the year, are great to see the outreach of this community towards those isolated, marginalized people who are suffering such illnesses. So I want to express my gratitude to being part of this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. And then finally, we save a space here for those joys and concerns that remain silent in our hearts. And to ponder those joys and concerns, let's pause for just a moment of silence meditation. Thank you. This congregation contributes to Share the Plate, where half of our cash collection each Sunday goes to local charities, which is a way for us to give back to the community we live in. This month's Share the Plate recipient is Transitions Homeless Shelter, which Tom already told you a little bit about, and Liz, he may have stole some of your thunder here. But here to tell us even more about it is Liz Eiglehart from Transitions. Liz?
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be back with many of you. I was here a couple weeks ago, and Michelle was supposed to speak today, but she had to go back to Chattanooga to help a close friend of hers get out of a difficult situation. So I'm back. For those of you who don't know, Transitions opened in 2011. We are a 260-bed facility. So we are not the oldest homeless shelter in town, but we are by far the largest. In addition to 260 resident clients, we also have anywhere from 80 to 90 non-resident clients who come during the day, because we open our doors from 8:30 to 5, 7 days a week for anybody who wants to come get lunch, meet with the case manager, use our computer lab, get a shower, get some fresh clothing, whatever. And over the last 11 years now, we have helped more than 3,300 homeless men and women move out of homelessness and into permanent housing. Yeah. Thank you. It's, for some people, it's a long journey. Some people come back to us multiple times before that finally sticks. For others, it's an easier transition. But because we, like you all and this church, are very open to accepting people who are still dealing with mental health and substance abuse challenges. You don't have to pass a breathalyzer to get a bed to be with us, but a lot of those issues take a while to resolve and learn how to either live with them or get over them, and we're there for them every day, that they're willing to do the hard work, so they don't have to worry about where they're going to sleep at night or whether they're going to get a meal, because if you're a resident, you get 3 meals a day that are prepared by Salvation Army in our kitchen and served locally to those folks. We are also currently, we've purchased a second property. It's not because we're moving. It's contrary to what sometimes you read in the press. It is for us to renovate, and we are actually going to try to build not only an adult daycare center that's open to anybody in the community, but also efficiency apartments that are going to be ADA compliant so that they will be available for rent to elderly and disabled individuals. Because while affordable housing is a huge issue and need in the Columbia area, housing for elderly and disabled individuals is even harder to come by. And so a lot of our clients are staying with us for 50, 59 days when they don't need to, but there's just no place for us to help them move that they can afford on a permanent basis. So hopefully that new initiative that we're undertaking will help alleviate some of that shortage. And we will be working on that for the next few years. But lots of opportunities for people to volunteer at transitions, also at the winter shelter, as Tom does religiously, honestly, for years. And we are grateful for his support and the time that he gives us. But lots of opportunities to come serve meals, to teach a class, to engage with clients and help them. So we encourage you to give us a call or go to our website and look at how you might be able to support our work, not just financially, but with your time and talent. And we thank you for all that you all have done for us all these years. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Liz. Now, if you're contributing by check, please write "share the plate" in the memo line, or you may make an online contribution. Simply go to our website and you'll see a link there. And those of you who are on streaming or on Zoom, you certainly may contribute. We'd welcome that. Anyhow, the website, uucolumbia.org, easy to donate there. Ushers, please come forward to receive the morning contributions.
This morning's offertory music is The Three Kings by Peter Cornelius.
Yeah, thank you, Karen and Anna. That was indeed beautiful again. we receive these gifts, and we are reminded that this is indeed a generous congregation that knows where its money is well spent.
So first, let me thank you all so much for the opportunity to speak this morning. I'm always pleased and honored to appear before you. In keeping with this morning's theme, I bow in gratitude. I would like to start with an exploration of what might seem an odd choice of opening words. The verse is part of a longer poem by Swinburne called The Garden of Proserpina, and the story is from the Latin myth of Proserpina. The verse opens us to think about two of Buddhism's understandings of reality: impermanence and independent origination. A third Buddhist foundational belief is what the late Zen monk Thich Nhat Hanh called interdependence. We'll come back to that. So let's hear the verse again. First, it gives thanks. Thanks that there is freedom from what can so easily cause distress, from too much love of living, from hope and fear set free. The term for distress in Pali, the language of the earliest Buddhist writings, is dukkha. And dukkha is often translated as suffering, but a better understanding of distress, of dukkha, is distress, dis-ease, the heaviness of things just not being right. And we feel this, according to Buddhist psychology, when we want reality to be different from the way it really is. We want life too much, or a certain kind of life, or a certain person. We hope for things that cannot be. I will never be a concert cellist or a marathoner. We fear things that either cannot happen or cannot be avoided and thus need to be faced. It is unlikely that the Earth will be destroyed by an asteroid in my lifetime. On the other hand, there is a chance we will pollute ourselves to death, and my actions need to change. What can I, one person, reasonably do? Dukkha arises when we grasp and cling, when we push away, or when we don't understand what is the true nature of things. These three are sometimes referred to as greed, hatred, and delusion. If distress and dis-ease arise when we don't understand ourselves and the reality around us, what is that reality? First, we must clearly internalize, know in our bones, that all is impermanent. The myth of Proserpina tries to explain the seasons. At certain times of the year, things grow. At certain times, they die. We are close to the winter solstice. In the few days, we will turn the corner and experience the shortest day of the year, but then the start of the cycle again, as the days grow almost imperceptibly longer. Winter is impermanent, but so are all the other seasons. We are impermanent. Buddhism claims 5 remembrances, which some people recite daily. They are: I am of the nature to grow old. There is no way to escape growing old. I am of the nature to have ill health. There is no way to escape ill health. I am of the nature to die. There is no way to escape death. All that is dear to me and everyone I love are the nature to change. There is no way to escape being separated from them. And finally, my actions are my only true belongings. I cannot escape the consequences of my actions. My actions are the ground upon which I stand. We in the West look upon these first 4 with fear and distaste. But maybe we can rethink these remembrances in the spirit of gratitude. No life lives forever, that dead men rise up never. The nature of life is death, and life is impossible without death. We give thanks that we are part of this cycle. We give thanks that this cycle exists, for without it, we cannot exist. Impermanence. We can't even hold on to the same thought, much less anything else. I only own my actions and the consequences of my actions. Sometimes this is called karma, a term which has moralistic connotations in our culture, but which actually translates as action, or as doing, or as cause and effect. The Buddhism that I practice is rational and material, not supernatural or metaphysical. It is based on the idea of dependent origination, which states that at any given moment, that moment is the product of many previous moments, cause and effect. Any given moment is a coming together of previous strands. In a sense, everything is depersonalized. Anybody with the same strands will experience the same moment. I am not uniquely singled out for good fortune or bad fortune. Any moment is what has come together from causes that I set in motion, but also causes that I have no control over and no knowledge of. I find this idea liberating, and for that, I give thanks. I am so lucky. I chose the right parents. I went to Tompkins Cove Union Free School and graduated as one of 21 public school students in 8th grade. My first husband got a PhD, so I did too. I found the UUs in Springfield, Missouri after they sent me a postcard. I could go on. My Zen teacher, Sherry Huber, told us to make gassho, to bow to all that we have been and all that we are in deep, deep gratitude. We can look at dependent origination when things don't go well. Often we'll blame ourselves as if we have control over everything, but we don't. And in our better moments, we know that. What to do when we experience illness and the indignities and ravages of aging. The help that Buddhism offers is in the depersonalization of experience. This allows me to get out of my own head and see what is really happening. I can then explore if something can be done, and if so, do it. I can see if nothing can really be done, and so instead of wasting energy and mental well-being, accept it. And in my mental balance, sometimes called wisdom, I can tell the difference. Some of you might recognize this as the Serenity Prayer. I am grateful to myself for being able to analyze the situation and act appropriately. Even the weariest river winds somewhere safe to sea. Buddhism teaches us that all is impermanent and that we live under the law of cause and effect. Third and lastly, it teaches us the interdependence of all things. All along the way, we are dependent. Infants and children need to be cared for. They can't shelter themselves, feed themselves, learn the ways of their culture themselves. I had parents who took care of me. I had teachers who encouraged me. I lived in a culture that recognized my strengths and talents and allowed me to use them. I had nothing to do with any of those things. They were there, although it was up to me to take advantage of them. As humans, our well-being is also shaped by those around us after we are adults. The first sentence of my intro cultural anthropology textbook back in 1961 was, man, humans, are social animals. Humans need one another to thrive. We know about Romanian orphans raised in great factory-like settings whose physical needs were met, but who were given none of the emotional support that infants require to grow into fully rounded adults. Infant monkeys need to cling to warm dolls, or even better, humans, if they don't have female monkeys to care for them. I've lived in Colombia now for some 47 years. I've actually been a member of this congregation for 47 years. And some of the people I first met, I am close to still. I have a circle of women I can talk to and get advice from. They nurture me. We are all part of the great web of being. In Hindu iconography, the metaphor is Indra's net. The god Indra has connected all that exists into a vast net in which the nodes reflect one another and are dependent on the whole. Thich Nhat Hanh's notion of interbeing is the same idea. We are all connected, all dependent. My little grace before meals starts, 72 laborers brought me this food. I give thanks for the food and the labors. Nothing we eat, nothing we wear, nothing we use was created by us alone. Everything depends on something else. The seventh principle of Unitarian Universalism is respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. Take out the apex predator, and the ecosystem falls apart. I stop many times of the day and just observe what is going on. I do it with the least amount of judgment I'm capable of. I see, I hear, I feel on my skin, I smell. If I am eating, I taste. I observe my thoughts, since Buddhism recognizes 6 senses, the 6th being thinking, feeling, with the mind acting as the sense door. And with that stopping, and just being there, usually arises a sense of gratitude, a rightness, a lightness. It won't last, of course, but that's okay because impermanence is the nature of things. What arises does so because of what is already there, having little to do with me. As I was writing this a bit earlier, I looked out onto my lake and saw that a small flock of hooded mergansers were in my cove. They weren't here last year and I missed them. What a joy to see them now. My spirits lifted. And me, my lake, the mergansers, you, this building, these people, we're all interdependent. The Buddha said that being born into a human form was both a wonder and a rarity. What better thing to do than give thanks?
I invite you to join in singing our closing hymn every night and every morn, number 17 in your gray hymnal. Please stand as you're willing and able.
Joy with
Our closing words are from our own hymnal. For the sun and the dawn which we did not create, for the moon and the evening which we did not make, for food which we plant but cannot grow, for friends and loved ones we have not earned and cannot buy, for this gathered company which welcomes us as we are from wherever we have come, for all our free churches that keep us human and encourage us in our quest for beauty, truth, and love, for all things which come to us as gifts of being from sources beyond ourselves, gifts of life and love and friendship, we lift up our hearts in thanks this day.
I invite you to join in singing our congregational benediction.
We extinguish this chalice at the end of our service here today. May its flame glow gently in our hearts and guide our paths until we are together again. I hope you've enjoyed the service today. Now, let me make just a couple of announcements before we move on. I want to welcome, again, the visitors. Wherever you are and wherever you, visitors anyhow. We want to welcome you. Now, so to those of you here in the sanctuary and those watching on YouTube, we will see you on Christmas Eve. So at the end of this week, we will have a Christmas Eve service, but we will not have a service on Christmas Day. We want to give you time to be with your friends and family in this holiday season. We will have a New Year's Day service, however, that will begin in January 1st, and Reverend Robinson will be there. And then in January, we have special guest speakers because it is Interfaith Partners Month, so you don't want to miss any of that. So this concludes our service, and thank you again for joining us. You're welcome to stay and enjoy light refreshments. Now, today you get to join in a party in honor of Andrea, sitting back there. Yes, Andrea is our favorite administrator, been with us for a number of years, but she is leaving us at the end of December. So there's a big cake back there, and there's lots of other stuff. So you can enjoy all that. You can enjoy talking to her. You can enjoy the cake. And you can enjoy visiting with each other, by all means. So this concludes our service. Thank you again for coming.